Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. This is Tega. In this video today, I'll be showing you how to draft a 3-part corset. So guys, let's just get started. This is the corset we're gonna be drafting in this tutorial without the sleeve. If you already know how to draft a bodice pattern, that is great. But if you don't, you need to watch my tutorial on how to draft a basic bodice pattern. Then you would understand what I'm doing here. So here, what I've done, I've taken vertical measurements from the shoulder. I've got the shoulder to chest line, the shoulder to bust line, the shoulder to under bust, and the shoulder to my waistline. So this is what you need to do, and you want to draw your horizontal line across. Then if you look properly as well, I've added a dot, and your dot is the nipple to nipple measurement. Whatever you have, you divide it by 2 and draw that line and create your dot. You want to come down by 1 inch from the bust line before you draft that. Then coming over to the armhole, you need to draw your armhole, the line up to your chest line. You come in midpoint there by 1/2 inch or 3/4. Then you connect it to your bust line. That is your bust circumference divided by 4. Whatever you have, you add that measurement and connect your armhole to it. So that's what I've done there. So you draw it right there like that, and that's your armhole. For the neckline, I just did a 3x3 round neckline because at this moment our neckline isn't relevant in this tutorial apart from the dot we're taking on the shoulder. So for beginners, I'm gonna repeat this part of the pattern drafting. For you to get your dot, you need to measure your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. Then you add that and draw your line. So over here, I'm gonna go to the shoulder and take the midpoint. Whatever you have, just mark the midpoint of the shoulder and connect it to the dot. Looking at what I'm doing, you want to connect it to your bust point, right? Like that. What you want to do, you want to take the measurement between your bust point and your under bust. Whatever you have between that, you want to go all the way around and draw your cup. So I'm going to be doing that now and going all the way around. Whatever you have from your bust point or bust line and your under bust, take it and just go all the way around. If you have a compass, that is easy to do. Otherwise, you'll be very gentle with your drafting. So now once that is done, you want to add 1/2 inch to that bit, to your under bust on that side, and 1/2 inch on that side as well. And you want to connect it to the dot on the waistline. So grab your ruler and connect that bit to your dot opening on the waistline. So you want to do exactly what I'm doing. And once that is done, you want to move on to the next stage. Don't forget, I've got 1 inch from the bust line under there. You want to connect that 1 inch to the dot, newly drafted dot. So this is what you would have. Next, you want to grab your ruler or your tape measure and measure that bit, the distance between the dot over there on the underbust. I've got 1.5 there, so you want to come up and transfer the measurement. Take 1/2 inch on one side, then the 1 inch on that side. So you've got exactly the same thing you have there. 1/2 inch there and 1 inch on the other side of your chest line. Now you want to grab your ruler and connect those marking right to your bust point. Connect the half inch and the 1 inch you've taken up there to the bust point. So basically you're creating another dart up there for your cup. You want to create a bit of a curve on that bit. Now you want to come over to your chest line and you want to come down from the chest line by half an inch. Then you come in by half an inch as well. Once you've done that, you want to draw a little line. What we're going to do is to connect that now to the dart above our chest line that we've just drafted. But before then, I'm going to be adding half an inch again to that bit, making it 1 inch, and half an inch on the other side as well, making that bit 1.5 inches. So I'm going to connect that bit like that. Just watch what I'm doing. Now we're going to have 2 lines there. I'm going to draw a new line. Don't forget we've added half an inch, and I'm going to draw another line on the other side, right? So the initial line we have will be scribbled out. So I'm just going to cross it over like that. So you want to do the same thing for yours. So we've created another dart opening for our cup, right? So what you're going to do is to connect that bit again all the way to your under bust. You want to draw a form of a circle, but not a complete circle, right? All the way there. Make sure you use your curved ruler. And you want to come to that armhole point there. Find the midpoint, make the marking, and come down by half an inch. You want to grab your ruler and rule a line across like that. From there, so you want to connect the dart, the new dart there, to the line, to that point we've just marked. I'm just trying with my pen. You want to do it with a curved ruler to give it a good shape more than I'm doing. So I've ended up here drafting my curve. This is not a good curve. You want to do better than this. Get your curved ruler and curve it out properly. So ignore my drawing, guys. Just take no notice of this. In order for us to cut the upper part of our cup, I'm going to take 2 inches on that side there. I'm going to mark 2 inches, come all the way down there, mark 2 inches, mark 2.5 on that side, then another 2.5 around the other dot. Then you come on that side, mark the 2.5, then you come on the other side and mark your 2 inches again like you did on the other side. And that's for the top part of our cup. Then you want to draw your line and connect all the dots together. Instead of the 2.5 or the 2 inches we've taken, you can decide to do a 1.5 inches. It depends on the size you want for the top part of the cup. So that's it now. That's the top part of our cup. Now you want to take your tape measure and measure what you have at the opening of that dart there. Whatever you have on the cup opening dart, you want to add it by your bust line. So it's like replacing what you would lose on the cup. Then you add your sewing allowance. The same thing applies to the waistline. Your waist circumference divided by 4. Whatever you have, you make the marking. Then you add the 1 inch dart allowance we took there, right? Then you add your sewing allowance as well. So your waist circumference divided by 4, 1 inch dart allowance and 1 inch sewing allowance. Then you want to grab your ruler and connect that to your bust line there. So it's as easy as that. draw your line across like that. If you look at the pattern of the corset we're drafting, it has a V shape along the front. So in order for us to do that, we're going to come down by 5, 6, 7 inches, depending on how deep you want the V shape. So here I'm just going to add 5 inches to it. You can do longer than that. It's optional, whatever length you want. So I've added 5 inches there, and I'm gonna connect it there from the waistline. Instead of connecting right from the waistline like that, you can give the waistline a bit of a shape. Come down by 2 inches before you draft your V shape. It will make it a bit more defined like the one in the picture. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to come down from the waist directly, And what I need to do now is to carry on with the dart. So now it's like closing up the dart from the waistline. When you sew a top, a normal top, from the waist you close it up all the way down. So that's what I'm gonna do here. I want you to pay attention to what I'm doing and just do exactly what I'm doing here. Like I said before, it closes up at the waist and opens slightly towards the V shape. You want to grab your scissors and cut. You've drafted everything you need on this front panel. So just watch how I'm cutting this so you don't make a mistake. Round the armhole, I forgot to cut the 1/2 inch allowance, but later on in the video I did that. The V shape could have been more stylish than I've done here, as you can see. But if you want to go ahead and make it more stylish, yeah, you can. I went ahead and cut out the dart. You want to pay attention to how I'm cutting the dart. Right, that's our center front now, so I'll move on to cut the other side of the dart. And once that is cut out, we will have our side front. Then we'll move on to the next stage. So here I'm cutting the first part of the cup and the second part. So in order for us to get the third part of our cup, we need to cut the top. Don't forget that's the 2 inch into the 2.5 inches, right? And we're gonna cut the other one as well. It looks like it's 4 parts, but it's not. So the top 2 are gonna be merged together to form a straight third part cup. So that's what you need to do. You would have something like this. Then you want to take your tape and tape this together. And once you've taped them together, you want to place them on another paper and draw the shape out, right? We only want one piece. We don't want 2 parts anymore. And that's it. So this is what you would have. Now you have the 3-part corset. That's number 1, 2, and 3. And we have our center front and our side front. So I'm going to be cutting the back panel now. You want to use your center front and your side front and place both on another paper like this, and making sure you have your dart in place as well. Your 1 inch dart allowance in between that, you want to transfer it. Whatever dart allowance you have, you need to transfer it on the back. On the back panel, we're not going to be having the V shape, so our back will end on the waistline, right? So you make the marking, right, on the waist, and you draw out all your shape. You draw out all the necessary shape, guys. What you want to do as well, on the side there, you want to come down by 1 inch at the center back and draw out your line. So the back isn't straight. You've got to come down by 1 inch and connect it. Right, and that's the waistline. So we've taken the V shape off the back. You're not going to have a V shape at the back. So that's me checking the dart. So I'm going to draw out my dart as well. For the back, make sure you don't forget this bit. And if you want your back panel to have a zip allowance, you need to add the zip allowance. But here in this pattern, this back, I haven't added the allowance for the zip. So I'm just cutting. But of course, when drafting your pattern, you need to add your zip allowance when you're doing that. Either on your fabric, but it's safer to do it on your pattern so you don't forget to add that allowance. So now you want to cut your dart completely. So once you cut your dart, you're gonna place them again together, and you need your sellotape to tape them together. So this is your new back panel. This is the new back panel now. Make sure you do the process. Like I said, you need to add your zipper allowance as well if you need a zip. Now I'm just gonna mark my pattern. That's the back, the center front, and the side front, and that's the 3-part corset sitting there. So this is how to make a 3-part corset. Not difficult, very easy. Once you follow the instruction, you'll be fine. I want to draw your attention to that underarm 1/2 inch I did not cut. So I went ahead and cut it out, and look at it. This is the perfect corset now. You should have something like this. If you follow this tutorial from start, you shouldn't have any problem making your own 3-part corset. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've really enjoyed this tutorial. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, look after yourself and bye for now.